Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabi wa man wala, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, amma ba'd. Today, bismillah tabarak wa ta'ala, في شهر المحرم وهو يوم العاشوراء, the 10th of Muharram, which is equivalent to the barakallahu fikum, 24th of November, Muharram 1434, the new Islamic calendar for the believers. Walillah alhamd, equivalent to that which we heard November 24, 2012. Here we want to just mention some of the issues pertaining to the notion that it is okay to talk about and to spread rumors that are unfounded, that have been Allah musta'an, not proven as it relates to someone that's known to be righteous, someone that his history has been since the entering into the door of Islam, that person has been hard working and seeking knowledge and doing what's right and rushing to make tawbah from that which is made clear to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the people or himself of error, that the person has been working hard to be raised in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a station of nobility in this life and the hereafter by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. And that spreading such he said, she said, whether it be tied to sexual allegations or anything different from that, if it relates to the honor of an individual, then to make safe the majority or that which is the general public, then there is a protocol for making people safe as the general public. And here, نصيانة مجتمعة من الفساد في الإسلام, how individuals are protected as a group of people from any harm, then this is one of the things that these people, they claim, like those involved in spreading. Don't let the brother teach. Watch out for him. We have to protect the masjid. The masjid is the masjid of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Inna masajid lillah wa la tad'u ma'la wa la tad'u ma'allahi ahadan. So don't call on any other along with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the masjid. And here we know the Prophet ﷺ, he said, al-ibadah mada ad-du'a wal-ibadah. In the Sunnah of Imam at-Tirmidhi and the Hadith al-Sahih, where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, dua, it is a form of worship. Now, so here we understand that the masajid is for Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect it. Just as the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is the deen of Allah. Inna deena indallahi Islam. The religion of Islam, the way of life known as al-Islam, istislam lillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, to submit yourself willingly, complying to the rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bit-tawheed wa ta'a, by obeying him and singling him out in lordship, in worship, and in his uniqueness of his names, characteristics, and actions and descriptions. وَخَلُوص مِنْ أَهْلِ الشِّرْكِ وَالْبَرَاء مِنْ أَهْلِ الشِّرْكِ. Naam. And to be free, to disassociate yourself from shirk and his people, not being like them, then this is the Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect. Likewise, the masajid is for Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect that masajid. So for the people to say we're protecting the masjid, This is unfounded. Kalam batil. Also, we're protecting the mujtama'a. We're protecting the women. This is not an issue of women. I'm married now, so what protecting of a woman? And a man normally is on the man's side, teaching openly, leading salat openly. A person can't even, unless he's in a masjid where everybody's in one area, can't go secluded with women. This is unheard of in the masajid, except someone is going to see it, someone is going to disapprove of it. So where's the harm? Wala hawla wala quwwata billah. We're protecting the image of the masjid. The image of the masjid should be an image upon khair, upon man satar Muslim, man satar Allah alayhi fi dunya wal akhirah. Whoever shields the Muslim, then Allah will shield him in this life and the hereafter. The masjid should be built and founded upon the image of وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Working together on piety, birri, that which is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, righteousness and goodness, and not working together upon scheming, lying, overthrowing, spreading namima, talking about he said, she said, what we heard, backbiting, saying what you know that your brother does not like of the truth, or slander, buhtan, shatam. This is the image of the masjid. The masjid should be a place mabni ala ilmin, a place built upon ilm. كما قال الله تبارك وتعالى يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا علم درجات. Verily Allah, indeed, He has raised those who believe from amongst you in knowledge, and He has raised you from amongst those who have يعني ماذا الإيمان. وكما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في حديث أخرجه في صحيح مسلم المؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف. المؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف وكل خير وفي كل خير. And the strong believer is more beloved and better to Allah than the weak believer. And both of them is so good. And both of them is some good. يعني the strong believer يعني في العلم والجسد ماذا وفي الصبر وفي حسن الخلق. The strong believer in his character and his knowledge and his physical body and his ilm, and ilm is not except with practice, application. He's more loved and better to Allah. He's more loved and better to Allah than the weak believer. So this shows الاسم تفضيل يبين على تفاضل. When you use something in Arabic called ismu tafdil, a noun that shows preference, then this shows that the thing that is raised is still something in the category like the thing that is inferior, that is lower, that both of them are in the same category except one is more preferred or higher in status and preference than the other. So here the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala includes the weak Muslim. And we know the weak Muslim, this includes da'af al-iman, wa da'af al-azima, wa da'af ma'adha fi amal salih, wa da'af fi sabr, wa tawakkul ila Allah, ala Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. This includes weakness in someone's makeup, weakness in his actions, in his belief system, weakness in his ability to be patient, and his total reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَفِي كُلِّ خَيْرٍ, and both of them is some good. And Sheikh Muhammad al-Man Jami rahimahullah ta'ala, when he was teaching, the great scholar from Ethiopia, was teaching in the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the masjid of the Prophet sallam, Masjid Nabawi rahmatullah alayhi, Sheikh Muhammad al-Man Jami, sallallahu sallam ala nabina Muhammad. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon His Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He mentioned that awliya Allah yatafawwat, those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect, and those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken into His company from the Muslims, meaning they're on different levels. So here we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the tongue of His Prophet saying, ahabba ilallah, yani khayr wa habba, showing that they're not out of the ballpark if they're weak Muslims. So what's the point? strong Muslim versus the weak Muslim, there's a difference, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves, and there's some good in both of them. So here, yani, barakallahu fikum, even if it refers to that Muslim that the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned, man sata musliman satullah alayhi fi dunya wal akhirah, he has the right that he be shielded. And you don't know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that weak Muslim, he or she, if Allah loves them. You set yourself up for war with Allah wa ta'ala when you deal with the Muslims unjustly, whether they are strong or weak. So for this, we want to talk about what is the methods of protecting the mujtama'. And those people who claim they're carrying tales by way of protecting the haqq, protecting the people, protecting the truth, protecting the masjid. And this is something that they have made up. And يتكلم يعني ماذا يتكلم شخص بالآخر بالنميمة والشتم والغيبة محرم أو الغيبة ماذا مباح. So they deem that they can talk about an individual by way of protecting something with spreading tales, which is called namima. You talk about the affairs of the people. And the Prophet ﷺ said, كفى بالمرء أن يحدث كل ما سمع أن يكون ماذا كاذبا. It is enough for a person if she or he narrates, talks about, repeats everything that they hear, that they are to be considered a liar. Why? Because most of the people, وَأَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ يُضِلُّكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, most of the people will take you from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of their lying speech. Now, so most of the people are telling lies. So if you narrate everything that you hear, then of course you're going to be one of the people that support and spread lies. Wa shatam, yani slander, ta'an, defamation. Also it could mean buhtan, outright lying. Wal ghiba is to say what your brother doesn't like. And they said, what if it's true? And the Prophet ﷺ said, if it's true, then this is what's known as ghiba. And if it's the opposite, then it is buhtan, it is lying, shatam. So they deemed that these affairs, saying she said, he said, I heard, the sheikh said, the brother said, this is okay because they're protecting something. They also say, to say what a person doesn't like, it doesn't matter. We're protecting the religion. This is jarhu wa ta'adil. We're criticizing the individual. And they also like to talk about ghibul mubah. Ghibul mubah. So let us take a quick look at the issue. That comes in the books of fiqh. When they say bab, يعني ماذا? Bab al-qadf, the chapter of accusations. And the reason they mention this, the chapter of accusations, as Imam Ibrahim al-Tarajri, he says, al-aqubat, the punishments, ala jarima fil Islam shari'at. These punishments have been administered by the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or rather in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and or his messenger, لزجر الناس عن الوقوع فيها ولصيانة المجتمع من الفساد أو تكرارها. And here the Shaykh his kalam, he says, Shaykh al-Tawajiri, the reason these punishments have been set out for these specific crimes in Islam is to keep لِزَجْرَ النَّاسَ عَنِ الْوُقُوعِ فِيهَا, in order to prevent or to stop the people from doing it. وَلِسِيَانَةِ الْمُجْتَمَعَ, and to protect the masses of the people من الفساد أو تقريرها أو تكرارها, or repeated offense. So here is the punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these regards will keep the people safe. And this is one of the downfalls when we live in a Western society where they give the person a nice place to eat, sleep, and recreation in the name of keeping the people safe and making it impossible for the people to repeat these crimes, where this is like a field trip for some, a reservation or a vacation for most. Rather, the punishments that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have prescribed is that which is most suitable. The Shaykh he mentioned, Shaykh Ibrahim al-Tawajiri, this Kitab al-Hudud and his Mawsul al-Fiqh al-Islami. This is Majal al-Khamis, Safat Mada Safhat 99, page 99, volume number 5. Also, after that, the Shaykh he mentioned, as he relates to this issue, Faslu Satra ala Nasi, Faslu Satra ala Nafsi Mughayri. He said, the chapter of shielding someone, or the chapter of shielding yourself and others. Shaykh he mentions this in his Mawsul al-Fiqh when he says, يستحب لمن أتى ذنبا أو اقتراف إثما. Said it is recommended, and here recommended doesn't mean that you take it lightly. Sometimes recommendations or يعني ماذا مؤكدا, very close to being wajib. And here this is the meaning, not a laid back choice or recommendation. No, this is a real strong recommendation. And yustira nafsuhu wa an yatuba ila Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So here, if a person falls into something, or if it is acknowledged by that individual, made, broadcasted by that person that they did something, then it is recommended that that person cover himself, that he doesn't tell anybody that sin, or if someone else knows that sin about that person, that they cover that person, and that it is recommended, highly recommended, that they repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaykh says, وَيَسْتَحِبُّ لِمَنْ عَلِمَ بِهِ أَنْ يُسْتِرَ عَلَيْهِ فَلَمْ ماذا ما لم يعلن بفجوره حتى لا تشيع الفساد، حتى لا تشيع ماذا حتى لا تشيع الفاحشة، حتى لا تشيع فاحشة في الأمة، حتى لا تشيع فاحشة في الأمة. The Shaykh he continues, he said, and it is also, and he recommended that that person be covered as long as that person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has not made it that it is broadcast that person sins, so that this type of evil will not spread through the communities of the Muslims. So this is why the Prophet ﷺ said, for example, to the Ma'abika Majnoon, like, just go make tawbah. And one narration, it was a lady, he turned away, and then on the fourth time, it's like khalas in the Sharia. After you say it 4 times, they know nothing is wrong with you, you're sane, because who would do something of that nature except that they are sane? Nah. Or that a person makes clear to you repeatedly that they did something that is tied to being punished, then this is a verification that that person is admitting that in a sane state of mind. Now, so here, the Shaykh is mentioning, firstly, if a person falls into something, you don't broadcast it. You don't brag about what you used to do in Jahiliyyah. You don't brag about what you used to do as a Muslim, Asi. What you used to do as a Muslim, Asi. You don't brag about it. And some people said it's okay if you're making a point. La. You should make the statement general. Like a person who does this and he's Muslim, he's a sinner, but this does show a level of Iman because he still prays, but he drinks. But his salat won't be accepted, as the Prophet ﷺ said, like this. Or I remember some of the people in Jahiliyyah, they used to do drugs, but they didn't allow that to stop them from trying to pray and memorize Quran like this. But a person should say, I remember when I was Muslim and I used to do cocaine and memorize Surah Al-Baqarah. This is ghalat. This is ghalat, and this goes against that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned and or His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam with regards to majaratul fisq, to broadcasting the sins. So here a person should cover that which she or he knows about sins, whether it regards to the individual himself or it is someone else. And the Shaykh continues, Shaykh Ibrahim al-Tarajri, when he says, وَعَلَيْهِ أَنْ يَنْسَحَهُ وَيَرْغَبَهُ فِي التَّوْبَةِ. And it is upon that individual. Here, alayhi means is wajib. If you know somebody did something, or it is said that somebody did something, that you advise them if this is the case, if you did this, if this is true, that you make tawbah. And you give them the encouragement. And you make sure that you direct them in that regard. And this is taken from the hadith of the Prophet sallam, and Abi Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu qala, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أو يقول كل أمتي معافى. All of my ummah will be forgiven. All of my ummah will be forgiven. إلا مجاهر. إلا مجاهر ماذا? Except the one who broadcasts. وإن من المجاهرة أن يعمل الرجل بالليل عملا ثم يصبح وقد ستره الله سبحانه وتعالى فيقول يا فلان عملت بارحة كذا وعملت ماذا كذا وقد ستره الله تبارك وتعالى بات يستره أو قد بات ستره ربه سبحانه وتعالى أو كما قال. And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that all of my nation will be forgiven on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. And this means except those who die wal-'ayadhu billah on major shirk. And this is similar to the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرِكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. هنا لمن يشاء ماذا؟ كل أمتي ماذا؟ أي المسلمين كل أمتي معافى. Now, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive if He decides everyone from the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ, those who accepted Islam. As ummah here, ينقسم إلى قسمين. Ummah al-da'wah, ummah mustajab. Those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Prophet called to the religion, and that's everyone from the time that he became prophet until Yawm al-Qiyamah. They are ummatu madan ad-da'wah, those who are from the nation that are called. And this is يعني كما قال النبي الثقلين وهم الإنس هم الجن والإنس. This means the jinn kind and the mankind. ثم بعد ذلك بارك الله فيكم أي نعم الاستجابة لله والرسول. نعم, those who answer the call of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, yani those who aslimu lillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who accepted the religion, فَاكْتُبْنَا مَعَ الشَّاهِدِينَ, write us down as those who bear witness. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, don't die except you are those who are Muslim. So here the Prophet ﷺ, when he says كُلُّ أُمَّتِي مُعَافَى إِلَّا الْمُجَاهِرَةِ or mujahirin, except those who broadcast, all of my ummah will be forgiven except those who broadcast. And then he makes clear what is the meaning of broadcast here, that a man, he does such and such of an action, meaning a bad action in the nighttime, and then when the morning arises, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shielded him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't make it where the people see that individual doing that of wrong. Allah shielded him in hopes that he would repent back to his Lord. He goes and he says, guess what? Last night I did such and such and such and such and such and such. Allahu musta'an. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Yusbahu yakshifu satarallahi anhu mutafaqan alayh. Thus this person, he removes the cover that Allah put upon him as it relates to his bad doings. Now, and some of the benefits here from this hadith of Abu Hurairah is that al-mujahara bid-dhunub min al-muharram yani al-kibar ad-dhunub. Some of the benefits from this we understand is that a person broadcasting his sins is from the major sins. A person telling that which he or she does is from the major sins. وَهُوَ فَسَادٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ, and it is that which is spreading harm and corruption on the earth. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ وَعَدَ مَنْ لَمْ يُكْشِفْ عَنْهُ بِرَحْمَتِهِ وَالْعَفْوَ مِنْ عِنْدِهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised the one who does not do this, he has promised his rahmah and his forgiveness. Then Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala kataba ala nafsihi rahmah, and that's because Allah has prescribed for himself that he is the one who is most merciful. Number 2, lo ummati yufid al-umum. This means all of the Muslims. Now, when the Prophet ﷺ said kullu, this means all of the Muslims. وَاسْتَثْنَى اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made an exception. الْمُجَاهِرَةِ الْمُجَاهِرِينَ, except those who go and broadcast their sins. يُشْمَلْ نَفْسِهِ وَلِغَيْرِهِ. This includes about the individual or his or herself. Number 3, السطر رحمة من الرحمن الرحيم على عباده وخلقه سبحانه وتعالى. And this covering, this shield, this blanket is a mercy from Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. وكش نور العذاب على الخلق من عندهم والله المستعان. And the opposite, yani being uncovered or revealed, is a type of punishment, and this comes from the creation themselves. And this is like the statement of the Prophet concerning the one who يَتَّبَعَ مَاذَا أُرَةُ الْأَخِي, the one who follows, goes around, digs, and looks for the mistakes of his brother. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in change and repayment for that one doing that to his brother, whether to just sue, don't spy, don't look, don't pry, don't creep, don't investigate to bring out somebody's faults, their shortcomings, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expose that individual, even if you think that it is not possible because of what he or she does in private. Now, and the proof that this is from the people, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Verily Allah desires for you ease. He does not desire for you hardship. And if this covering, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hadith, the Prophet said, He will cover you in this life and the hereafter. If you cover somebody, and this is the ease, and the punishment is the opposite. Proving that this exposing one another is from the evil of the people, and it is not from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nor His rahmah. ومن ستر مسلما ستر الله عليه ومن ستر مسلما ستر الله ستره الله في الدنيا والآخرة, or as it has been mentioned in the hadith, ستر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة, whoever covers a Muslim, then Allah will cover him in this life and hereafter. And we know there are some exceptions. We will get to those exceptions, but the general rule is that you cover. أما ما يبيح من الغيبة, as far as those things that have been mentioned that are allowed to do so with regards to an individual, then this ليس داخل يعني في القذف, and this does not fall in the category of sexual accusations. Cannot mention it except you have the proof, or that person goes to the authorities and say X, Y, and Z. Now,